The latest Star Wars Disney Plus series, Skeleton Crew, has now wrapped things up, and for the first time in what seems like a long time, Star Wars fans seem relatively optimistic about a show. And with Lucasfilm's most recent show, The Acolyte, getting canceled and non-renewed for a season 2, I feel like this brings up an even bigger question. Like, what exactly is happening with Star Wars? Today I'm going to be giving my review on Skeleton Crew, and then I'm going to be talking about all of that. So be sure to go down in the comments section. Let me know all of your thoughts on this stuff. What do you think is happening with Star Wars? Also, what did you think of Skeleton Crew? Let me know, and let's talk Skeleton Crew. So this one's a little bit interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't that excited going into this season, and then after the first couple of episodes, I became a little bit invested, and then as this season went on, I just became more and more invested, and that's what you want out of television. That's good TV. It was created by Jon Watts and Christopher Ford, and to sum it up, it's basically just the Goonies in Star Wars. Like, let's be real here, that's exactly what it is. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Goonies, Stranger Things, these like young adventures, they have a lot of charm. They can really draw you in when they're done right, and I think that this show succeeded in that. And a lot of that comes down to great characters and great writing, and I can tell you what, like Skeleton Crew had a lot of that, especially when you're working with these 4 young actors, all, you know, seemingly under the age of 13. That's a tall ask. But each of their characters were unique, and each of them individually was extremely well thought out. Wim, Fern, KB, and especially that little Neil, they were fun. I loved the growing dynamics between them all. I think it was that episode that Bryce Dallas Howard directed where they get split apart, or they decide to like take separate paths, and you have Wim with KB, then you have Neil with Fern, and they use that to sort of sew together the group. And I appreciated that a lot because the show used that to its advantage to eventually get to a place where all of this feels earned. These 4 come together, and by the final episode, KB is going down in that ship and she crashes, and I'm sitting there like kind of like tearing up because they mean something to me. But with every TV show, honestly, just every story in general, you need a great antagonist, and that's when Jude Law comes in. And can we all just collectively give Jude Law his flowers right now? Can we do it? Should we just do it? Because I don't know if this show is going to get a season 2, and this guy was in like the semi-failed Fantastic Beasts franchise. He's just had a strange career. He's such a great actor, and he brings so much to the show. He's the glue that holds it all together. Without him, none of this works. I loved watching the rise and fall of Jod, and like even just the last shot of him watching that ship blow up and stuff. It's just, you felt all of that with him because he was a great character. He was a well-written character. He's an ass, but he's kind of our ass. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't even know what I mean. But all of the dots end up coming together throughout all of the episodes, and when all of that works, and then you add in the other stuff that works, I guess for me, one of the main things that worked so well was the practicality. You see it with Star Wars, but you also see it with Marvel and just a ton of other things. I feel like shows these days aren't working when they're really leaning on CGI, like the over-leaning on CGI, because the audience can just tell it's fake, and it doesn't allow you to feel like you're having an immersive experience. That's why we watch TV and movies, right? Like, we want to escape. And in this, they did a really great job with having these massive practical sets and the costumes and the creatures and everything they did, the puppet work. It was just a very, very fun world to be a part of, and every single place that they went each episode, it felt like it was lived in. It felt grounded. It felt like it could exist. I really don't have many negatives besides how annoying the parents were getting in this show. I don't know if anybody feels me on that, but in the case of like the episodes in the show, I didn't think that it needed any extra episodes, and I didn't think it needed any less episodes. It was a very perfect story, and it was told really well. Props to Jon Watts and everybody that came together making this thing happen. Critically, I would call Skeleton Crew a success. I'd give it 4 out of 5 stars, and it deserves it. But we're gonna have to turn the page here because the numbers don't lie, guys. There's a much larger conversation to be having right now because unfortunately people aren't watching this show because Star Wars kind of sucks right now. And I've pretty much come to my wit's end with it because I'm sitting here and I'm enjoying this show, but at the end of it, I'm like, okay, cool. What are we doing though? Like, what are we doing? What does any of this even mean? Like, how many times do I have to sit and watch an X-Wing on a TV screen before it just starts to mean nothing? The next movie is Mandalorian and Grogu, and again, that might be good, like Skeleton Crew, but none of it feels right, and I don't know if any of you feel the same way on that. You guys know me, I am a sequel defender. I'm a prequel enjoyer. I am an OTOG. I love it all. Star Star Wars means a lot to me. Or it used to anyways. Honestly, Star Wars used to be my life, but I feel like I'm ready to say that Disney Lucasfilm has single-handedly taken all of that joy away from me. A lightsaber doesn't feel special or powerful anymore. An X-Wing flying around in space doesn't feel like a dream. The Force has started to feel more like a gimmick than something super powerful and deep and something that resonates with you. And to me, like, my perception of what's going on over there at Disney Lucasfilm, it just feels like none of them are trying to tackle any of this or add in any way. All that they're trying to do is take away. They're trying to oversaturate and throw things at the board until something works, and then they can go, see, we have great ideas, but they're completely missing the fact that they're diluting this brand so much that when these shows come out, people no longer care. Even if there's a great one that comes out like Skeleton Crew, nobody's watching because nobody cares anymore. They don't seem to understand or acknowledge or even care. Like, I'm sure people that work there care about Star Wars, but to us, Star Wars is Luke Skywalker walking around a corner, door shutting, pushing him into a room, and being trapped suddenly in this room, and James Earl Jones's voice echoing out, Luke, Darth Vader. Such a heavy moment, so much emotion. Star Wars for a lot of people is two doors opening up, Darth Maul igniting two red blades, and John scores freaking blasting in our ears and making us feel something. Even the sequels, you know, a lot of people hate on the sequels, but this was Disney's first attempt at a lot of this Star Wars stuff, and there were certain things that I felt like they got right. Kylo Ren standing on this bridge in this massive hangar, igniting his blade and deciding to dive even deeper into the dark side. Like, that's the kind of stuff that we want to see. We want to see real emotion. We want to see things that feel like Star Wars. We want to see cohesive storytelling that does apply to everybody. I think the age-old argument is like, well, don't you know that Star Wars was made for kids, when people are talking about maybe the numbers being down on Skeleton Crew, and it's like, yes, Star Wars was made for kids as well as it was made for everybody. It was a phenomenon that everybody watched and enjoyed. You weren't just showing Empire Strikes Back to 3-year-olds, you know what I mean? And although Skeleton Crew is a really fun thing, and I think a younger audience is going to really enjoy it, there's probably a lot of adults out there that are rolling their eyes at this. And then this Acolyte, kind of this strange teen heartthrob Twilight Star Wars, it's not working. Everything that they're doing, again, is diluting this brand, and it's making it so everything that comes out just feels less and less like Star Wars and more like just another sci-fi show. Star Wars is meant to be in movie theaters, but the craziest thing about this brand right now is they're announcing that they're coming back to movie theaters with The Mandalorian and Grogu. It just, everything feels so out of place. Everything feels so out of touch, and I'm not the type of person that's gonna lie to you right now and be like, I'm done with Star Wars, I'm gonna stop watching, because I am gonna keep watching because I'm legit, like, attached to this IP. Like, I have to watch anything new that Star Wars that comes out. I just have to. I just know that I'm going to consistently be let down, and I'm continually going to be just growing further and further away from Star Wars until maybe one day I just won't feel attached at all, and maybe I can just not watch a Star Wars show if it comes out. But in closing, all I would have to say is Skeleton Crew was good, and Star Wars sucks right now. So leave me all your thoughts down in the comments. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you disagree? I would love to hear it. Also, my friends, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, and keep up the good vibes. I'll see you in the next video. Peace!